Well, yo, Django Gold. Man, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. How you doing, man? What you up to?
Thanks for having me, man. I was just out trying to run some errands, and all I really realized I could do was go to the ATM. I didn't have any time. I also didn't know I needed at the grocery store, so left my apartment, kind of panicked. It's like, what can I get done in 10 minutes? Went to the ATM, and then I came back. So the errands are still on the list, I guess.
Facts. Yeah.
Fucking can't even accomplish going to the grocery store these days, man. It's terrible.
Yeah, dude. I've kind of allowed myself the indulgence of like the delivery shit. You know, the
Yeah,
the Bezos, the Jeff Bezos
yeah.
surprise. But
My
I
word
don't
about
know.
that, like how's the produce? Because I'm paranoid that if I say like I want a bushel of bananas, they'll give me like the worst bananas they have. Like that.
Sometimes you can't trust them that you'll get just the greenest bananas. They're getting you bananas for like 4 days from now, but
Yeah,
but
I want a now banana.
yeah, I don't. There, you might be able to put that in the like description. Like, yo, try to get me a banana for today, and then maybe some green ones for later. But
Yeah,
it's not bad. I mean, it's pretty much just the produce from Whole Foods. You know, they go in and they just
yeah,
fucking grab it. Now, you can't always trust the selector to give it that mom sort of squeeze and
totally.
listen to the avocados a little bit.
I have like six broken eggs, an avocado.
Yeah.
Can't eat till March, you know.
It's a grab bag though. It's a mystery box.
Yeah,
But man, so you're in New York, huh? How is that? Is it super snowy where you're at?
yeah. It snowed like really hard like a week and a half ago, and it's been so cold that it's like staying snowy. Like it's not like usually it snows and it melts, and now it's like really like pretty solid snowy landscape out there. And it's cold as hell. You're in Chicago, right?
Yeah, the snow is insane. It's super deep. It's like above the knee. Depending on how tall you are, I'm only like 5'7", so it's above the knee for me. But
Yeah,
but
yeah,
man, it's nuts, and it's really kind of it's letting me play into my, I don't know if it's my worst nature, but my sort of recluse. Like, I'm not
yeah,
going anywhere. I'm gonna fucking stay up till 6 a.m. and I've been in Chicago for a month. It's been nighttime this whole month basically
yeah,
because I stay up till the sun comes up, then go to sleep, and by
yeah,
the time I wake up, it's got like an hour left of daylight. It's like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. So it's
yeah.
been trippy, but
It's
yeah.
not like there's anything cool to do outside in 20-degree weather. So you might as well hang out and do your thing.
Yeah, but man, dude, I guess one of the main things I wanted to talk to you about was just like this sort of TV writing shit in general. I've recently started like taking a crack at it, and I wanted to know like what it's kind of like writing for the type of show that you write for too. It's kind of a unique, that sort of like late night format. It's
Hmm.
always been really intriguing to me. I think we all sort of like grew up with shows like that, and not to. I'm sorry, this was kind of a weak segue. I just really dove into it,
No, no,
but,
like I
but
said,
it's something that I'm just really curious about. Just kind of like, and this is a bad question, but loosely, what it's just even like, the environment, and it's something that like I think we all kind of have our. It's the weird type of thing. I think in music and TV and shit like that, everybody kind of thinks they know what your job is like. You know what I
yeah.
mean? But yeah, my bad. But what's
I mean, I don't know. Like, when you see like when you watch TV that has like a TV show in it, you see like people with clipboards running around, like guys with lights coming through, and
yeah.
it kind of what like when we were in the office, it was kind of like that to a sense because you're making a show every day, so it's like bam, 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 bam. But now that I've been working from home, it feels a little more disconnected from that crazy way of life because you're seeing people's faces and screens, and we use Slack to communicate and all that. So it does feel kind of removed from that really urgent, crazy pace of like TV world. That being said, it's still like we make a new show every day, so it's still like get the job done. Like we got to go up at 5 or whatever, and like so it's still pretty demanding. Still like our show is very like based on like the news of the day. So like whatever happens, in Washington or wherever, at any given moment, it could like change the course of the show. Like in an instant, something crazy happens. So like
Yeah.
it is like one of those things where you're very like quickly responding to like some new wrinkle in what's going on.
Yeah, facts. Well, man, how is the like you being from home? How does that still work then? What's your like schedule like of having to, and how are you guys like approving what's going to end up going on the show without
Yeah.
being in the room?
Well, I mean, basically, we just do like a jillion Zoom meetings every day,
Yeah.
and not everyone's involved in every meeting, and then you have like the higher ups who are doing like the official like shaping of the show. So I'm a writer, so I like work on a script in the morning, and it gets revised by the higher ups, and the higher ups from that like kind of shape the angle of that show. But it's basically just like a series of remote assignments, and then your superior or whatever is kind of shaping it down the river so that like ultimately everything kind of converges into whatever is the show that night.
Dope. Yeah, that's cool, man. It seems like it'd be, really hectic, but also just a really fun kind of,
Yeah.
camaraderie building type situation too.
No, it's good. I mean, I miss like seeing people face to face. It is kind of like it's not surreal anymore because I've been doing it for almost a year. But it's like
Yeah.
weird to be making a show with someone that you're not in the same room with. Because usually, you're in like a writer's room and it's like fun. Everyone's like riffing around. But when you have like 20 Zoom boxes,
Yeah.
you don't get that same like sense of togetherness.
Yeah. Fuck. Well, man. So, how long have you been on this show in particular? How long have you been writing for it?
I've been writing it for Colbert and Late Show for like 5.5 years. I joined.
Dope.
But he had his other show, The Colbert Report. And
Yeah.
when that went off the air in 2015, he transitioned to the new show, and I got hired in the interim between those two shows, basically.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Because I used to watch The Daily Show. You know how I first got introduced to Stephen Colbert was through The Daily Show, to the point where I think was watching his show from the very first episode. From the
Oh
moment
yeah,
they kind of went split screen with Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert to like introduce his show for the first time. I think I
yeah,
watched
yeah,
the very first episode of that. I had to have been a little kid too. I was like probably wasn't old enough to understand the comedy, but I just thought it was kind of funny that it was like it's like the news, except it
yeah.
wasn't as boring as the news. I like this type, you know what I mean? So it's cool, man. So really, it's interesting. Like, how did you, you started in stand up, right? Is that is that?
Yeah, I mean, like the first comedy thing I ever did was I because I used to play music fairly regularly, and I would go play like acoustic guitar songs at my local open mic in Boston, Jamaica Plain, and there would be like stand up comics that would roll through and like do their 5 minute set as their open mic set. And
Yeah.
after like a few weeks of seeing them, I was like, I could probably think of a few jokes here and there. So I did that, enjoyed it, kind of did it more and more. Like
How old were you think when you went up for that first time?
I think I was either 24 or 25. So this is like
Okay.
10 years ago. Yeah, I was kind of a late bloomer. I never like, other than like watching comedy, watching The Simpsons, reading The Onion a lot growing up. I never like performed anything until like 24, 25.
Yep. That's encouraging. That's that should be
Yeah.
that should, man.
Well, Rodney Dangerfield didn't start doing comedy until like in his 40s, and he didn't like break through until he was like 52 or something. So
That's true, but I don't know if you want to pattern your career after him. He's notorious for not being respected.
that's true. I have some goddamn respect in this guy. Yeah.
But man, dude, that's fucking cool. Where were you going up? Was it in the city in New York?
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, I lived in Boston for a few years. And I was doing it, here and there, and then I moved to New York, and then I moved to New York, Chicago, back to New York, etc. And like basically, like going up at a combination of like clubs and like little bar shows that people put on. If you've ever like gone to like a local bar, you see they're doing like a comedy night, and like background,
Yeah,
25 shares and stuff, that type of thing. So like
yeah,
a combination of that, basically.
that's cool. And how did that? Who kind of saw you there? How'd you end up making your first connection into something a little more like kind of industry established?
Yeah, unfortunately, I never really got like there. I never got that moment where like the scout sees me, like calls his manager, like, "We gotta sign this guy."
Yeah.
What happened was I moved to New York in like 2010, and the first like job I got lined up was an internship at the Onion, and this was like the Onion. I'm not sure if you read a lot, but when I was
Yeah.
like a teenager in like early 20s, like adored the Onion. Like it came out back then. It came out once a week online. Like the whole website would just update on like Wednesday or Thursday or whatever, and I would just like devour it every week. And I was like totally in love with it. Totally loved like their sense of humor. So I got this internship there, unpaid internship, and I was like 25. All the other interns were like 20, so I was like a weird older guy that was doing this job. I think I was actually older than my boss, which is really
That's
amazing. When your boss is like 23 and you're 25. But anyway, so I did this unpaid internship for a few months. Then after that ended, you got the chance to try out to be a contributor, which is basically when you like email in like a list of headlines every week. So I did that for like almost 2 years, maybe a little more than 2 years. And like at that point, I was like, you know what? This is my foot in the door. I'm gonna put all my energy into doing the best job I can with these weekly lists. So I did that, kind of like climbed through the ranks of the Onion like freelancer like squad or whatever. And after 2 years of that, I got invited to do their fellowship program, which is when I moved to Chicago because that's where the Onion is now. Did that, got hired at the Onion, worked there a couple years and a half, and then I got hired at Colbert. That's basically the journey, the long and short of it.
Yeah. Well, dude, man, that's awesome, So what are you up to? Like, what's the main focus today? I guess the Colbert show is probably still taking up the majority of your brain space.
Colbert is definitely the main brain space. I haven't like stand-up comedy, especially in New York, is basically on hiatus right now. Like people are doing these Zoom shows, and I've done a couple of them, but they're honestly like, it's not how comedy is meant to be done, because like you're like talking in a Zoom box, the person watching is like, checking their email, reading, and you're in like one of like 30 tabs. It just isn't. It's not an ideal format for comedy. So I've honestly haven't been doing that much in the world of stand-up. I've kind of, just been focused on other hobbies, other stuff, like doing a lot of cooking,
what you making? What have been some of the quarantine pickups?
A lot of comfort food, man. Really, ton of comfort food. I'm making carbonara for my girlfriend tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
We make a lot of biscuits for breakfast. That's like a solid we've been doing. Because you just make like biscuits and like throw eggs on it. It's like the best thing in the world,
Yeah. I'm like a croissant guy more so, but I feel
yeah. I don't think I could ever make a croissant. It's so like delicate.
Yeah.
Like you need like a 3D printer to make one of those things,
Yeah. I like the ones where you just bust open the can. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like a dinner roll.
Those are definitely good. Yeah, the Pillsbury ones are good. I also, remember those like. So back in the day, Pillsbury had the normal cinnamon rolls, and they also had the ones with the orange icing.
Yeah.
Were you into that?
I'm not a huge fan of like orangey, like that type of shit. Like
fluorescent orange breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if like orange chicken is a little too orangey, then
yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about. My mom got the orange ones one time, trying to mix it up, and I had to pull her to the side. I was like, "Hey, I appreciate
natural,
the adventure, the you know what I mean, the curiosity. We tried it." But let's keep it. I'm a purist when it comes to the cinnamon.
Natural icing, if at all possible. You cook at all? You making anything?
Yeah. I've been trying to. I've been making hella like stews and soups and like braising shit since it's been so cold out. But and I need to just start cooking again, dude, because I had lost like so much weight like by the end of 2019. Like I was at like 160 pounds. I'm 5'7", so that's like around where I'm supposed to be. But I used to weigh like 300 pounds, so I had gotten I basically halved my whole body weight. But then this past year, I fucking gained nowhere near all of it back, but I gained like 30, 40 pounds this year. Just fucking.
Totally. I mean, if you're inside all the time, just making stews and shit, it's hard to. hard to fucking back on with the LBs.
Yeah, dude, but it's been tough, man. Well, really, it wasn't even me cooking. It was just like me ordering from just every place because I just got so bored, and my inner like fat boy, when I really think about it, eating something delicious is like a top 5 most fun activity for me, honestly.
Yeah.
So once all.
I was gonna say it gives you like a total endorphin high, like
totally.
You do anything like butter and fat, it's like, oh yeah.
But the ordering process adds even a couple layers, because then there's the whole process of figuring out what you want, which is a whole thing. Then you finally order it, and DoorDash is giving you just like these little incremental step by step. They're like, this person's working on it. Then a couple minutes later, it's like your DoorDasher is like waiting on it. Then it's like they've picked it up, and then you can watch them drive all the way to your place. Next thing you know, I just watched like a 45-minute episode of like fucking where's my delivery? And by the time it gets there, it's just the whole thing. But
like a video game. The video
it's
game.
Dead as like a video game.
The pizza shows up.
But and I don't know. I just feel like I have like kind of a weird metabolism too. I feel like I just take a deep breath and I gain a pound. So fucking, it's tough. But and
how you feeling otherwise? You making a lot of beats and stuff?
Yeah, man. I've been making a lot of music. I use Logic Pro. I don't know where do you in? Are you in Ableton probably? Or
I don't do anything. I mean,
oh, okay.
when I used to do music, I would sometimes do like Pro Tools, but that was for like acoustic instruments. You know, I wasn't like doing any MIDI sequencing or anything. So
Yeah.
I don't know anything about any of the fancy stuff. You know.
Oh, well, dude, I've just started learning a bunch of new tricks in Logic. That's like Apple's like in-house program you can buy. It's like the paid version of GarageBand, basically.
Yeah.
But man, they have a lot of cool stuff for people like me, where I don't really play an instrument. I don't really know music theory. I was always like more of a beat maker and just kind of hearing it and feeling it out. But now when I'm making new things, I can like transpose, which is basically like locking the whole session into whatever key I want it to be in, and it
Yeah.
makes it so that any note I play is like in the right scale and stuff. And then for vocals, I can just set my auto tune to like that same key, and now my vocals are locked into the thing, and
Yeah.
it's been really cool. I'm making a lot of cooler stuff, and it sounds really like much tighter just musically, I feel too. So
Yeah.
it's been cool. That's been like quarantine shit too, just going down the rabbit hole of that program. But
You usually do stuff at night. You're saying you're staying up till 6 a.m. See, that's cool,
yeah,
man. That's how you got to do it. Just like alone in your room, fucking no distractions.
yeah. It's cool, and I don't know why it just being in the middle of the night adds like an extra layer of me feeling like cool or like rebellious or some shit. Just
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah, no,
like,
totally. Because you're like an artist, you're an art. I mean, you are an artist, but like it's like a classical artist, like alone in his room, making this thing.
yeah. Well, man, dude. So, what else is up, dude? You seen any cool movies or TV lately? What have you seen in the past
Yeah,
like, week or two?
I just finished watching that show. I May Destroy You. Have you heard that?
Wow, right?
It's good, man. It's really good. It's also like really funny too. I wasn't expecting it to be like a comedy like that. It's like really
Yeah.
funny and cool.
HBO, I think, is really smashing those like really dark comedies. They have a couple that I think kind of. Were you ever familiar with that show Barry that came out a couple?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bill Hader's show.
Yeah, Barry's. Barry, I do enjoy Barry.
I was really high on Barry. I thought Barry was one of my favorite shows of the past few years. But yeah, I May Destroy You. I think her name is it Michaela Cohen? I don't.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big fan of her too, man. She was in one of my favorite Black Mirror episodes, and yeah, that show was really really good.
Oh yeah. Wait, which Black Mirror was she in?
She was in the same one with Jesse Plemons, I think,
Clemens,
where
yeah,
it was like the Star Trek themed kind of one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. That was cool.
Yeah, and she's been in a few things, like a few things that were on Netflix and stuff. But yeah, she's dope. She had her own show on Netflix too. That was cool. It wasn't like my absolute favorite thing, but it was pretty cool still.
Yeah.
But
Really,
yeah,
like, I like, it's dumb. But like, I was watching this like the whole time, like, it has all these like dark themes and comedic themes. But the thing I kept thinking was like, man, it looks really cool to be like a young hip person in London. It's a really cool scene to be involved in. It's like the opposite of what I'm doing. But like, with all these artsy people and all that. It's like, man, this is where it's at. After this is over,
yeah,
I'm gonna set up shop in London, start talking like that, man.
yeah, that would be awesome.
Start calling
But
things bad.
instead, when you're in London, you damn near have to like pretend to be Canadian or something just to avoid like Trump questions and shit.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
last time I was over there was like right after Trump got elected, and
Yeah.
literally just the moment I said anything out of my mouth, people were just like, "So, that's Trump. That's your boy, right? That's your man."
Yeah.
But it was tough. But
It's crazy. Like even before Trump got elected, like I would do some. I did some traveling like before 2016. Even then, people were still putting Canadian flags on their backpack. So I can't even imagine how much worse it got after Trump got elected. Because like people were still like reeling from like George Bush and Iraq and all that jazz.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Our standing already wasn't like fantastic,
Yeah.
but
this gets worse and worse. Man.
yeah, dude, Jesus. And now we got we got a grandpa in there. Where he seems like a nice enough guy, I guess. But
Nice, good smelling grandpa.
ooh, I don't know who's confirmed the good smelling part.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My hope is that when I get to be that age, like, because just a stereotype that old people smell. That's
Yeah.
like my one. I have two goals as an old person: don't smell and don't hold up the line at the grocery store. Don't
Yeah.
I have exact change. I have expired coupon, and then it's hygiene. That's like my two paranoid, like my two fears about getting older. It's like being a smelly, slow old person.
Damn, I think mine are just like hella weird pains, like limb, just unexplained aches and shit. Cause
Yeah.
um, I feel like I smack my knee way more often than is normal, and and I used to just be really heavy, which I feel like probably put some strain on my joints. I'm
Yeah.
just like not looking forward to just doing regular shit and just like being all creaky and
Yeah.
but it is what it is, and that's when it's really gonna set in that I'm never going to the NBA as well. Which I'm still,
I gotta say, I think I'm a little bit older than you. I'm 36,
uh,
and those pains aren't waiting until I'm old, man. Like right
they're
now,
yeah,
I try to exercise and stuff. But like, if I were to catalog all my pains right now, it's like knee, both ends, right shoulder. It's just like I don't know. It's tough to get around that for
man,
sure.
fuck, dude. I don't know what's. Part of me too is hoping that technology is gonna make some just insane leap where by the time we're old they're just like, oh dude, we could just give you a whole new
Robot skeleton.
yeah. Well,
Put your brain in a robot.
what do you think about that, dude? Because that's like there's people talk about that type of shit like it might be a thing. All this Neuralink, Tesla, stuff.
It's kind of scary to think about the idea that if they could get your consciousness out of your body and you could essentially just like live forever as a computer program.
Yeah.
That's scary to think about. And it's also scary to think about the idea that they won't like let you stop living. That you
Yeah.
exist.
And then it has to become like a decision that you make. Because at a certain point, dude, you gotta imagine 1,000 years or something. I'm gonna be like, dude,
I've seen this.
I'm
Yeah.
really done. I'm really actually. I think I
Yeah.
should stop. And yeah, now you have to decide when to die, which would be really, really trippy. And I don't know. I mean, it kind of like it depends on like your beliefs too, because I think that that theory definitely is kind of completely at odds with any sort of like religious belief that you could
Yeah.
like just take
I mean,
someone's whole being out of them and put it on a fucking USB drive or something forever.
heaven goes out of business if
Oh, for
your
sure.
consciousness just exists. And you could even like say, "Oh yeah, I want to be dead for kill me for a couple of 100 years and bring me back." I just want to relax for 200 years and have no consciousness whatsoever. So, God, it's really creepy just to think about.
Yeah. What's your like gut feeling on it? Do you think it's real? Like on the spot, if you had to really put your money on it, do you
I
think
mean,
that's
in theory, in theory, and this is me kind of like riffing here. Your consciousness is based all on a physical entity, which is your brain. It's not. There's no abstract quality. It's all chemicals and the mass of your brain. So in theory, because it's all physical, if science could get to the point where they could replicate or synthesize whatever things are happening in your brain and like basically translate that into like zeros and ones, in theory, your consciousness could just become a program.
yep.
So
Yep.
based on that, and based on the science actually getting there, I think yeah, it could definitely happen.
I think so too, man. It freaks me the fuck out, but I honestly think what your consciousness is just like this composite image of just all the information you're taking in at this moment, everything you've already taken in. I just think it's like this composite image that's just fucking in your brain, and I think they can do it, man. I think it's gonna change the world. I think it
You think
might be like
you think it'll happen in our lifetime?
maybe towards the end of it for them really going all the way with it. But I'm trying to think like what, and it's kind of it's weird because kind of the point of what I'm about to say is that you can't really predict it. But every generation has something that comes along that just really radically changes, way of life for people. I think it happens every like 15, 20 years. Something big happens, and I wonder what it's going to be for our generation. Because I think for my parents, it's like all of this. Just connectivity, like all this wireless internet, just kind of the Internet of Things and all this. I don't know. It's just the instantaneous connectivity of everything that the internet brought about. I think is what my parents' generation has been kind of blindsided by, and I wonder what it's going to be for us. I don't know, but I do think
I, they were talking about like it would be AI, and it still seems like that would happen. But like I remember, like 10 years ago, they'll be like in 5 years, every truck driver will be a robot, and that hasn't happened.
yeah,
it doesn't seem like that's moving quite as quickly as they said it would, which is obviously good because for the obvious reason that we all need jobs,
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, what do you think about that though? Because I think there's been some somewhat interesting concepts brought about the sort of universal basic income type of
yeah,
thing, which I think, in theory, I think I'm for that honestly, and I think I'm about to just go on like a mini tangent. Give me one moment. So I
no,
think when you just my view of looking at the way things are, I think we're gonna have to do something with our system, our financial system, our political system, and I think probably what makes the most sense to me would be some sort of hybrid between our current capitalist system and some sort of socialist, hybrid thingy where fuck, I kind of lost my train of thought. But basically, in essence, I think we should put a cap on billionaires. I don't think you should be able to have like 100 and something billion, and I
yeah,
think some of that excess should go towards just making sure that our baseline of living is a bit higher. Because at some point, I think it's probably in the best interest of even the billionaires to make sure everybody's okay so that everybody can keep buying their fucking toasters and blenders and
yeah,
all the things. I think it could continue to make the ecosystem flourish if we're not just completely neglecting the lower tier of it, earnings wise. So,
yeah. I mean, the problem is these billionaires are fucking crazy. Like
yeah.
they have something wrong with them
Yeah.
that they don't see. I mean, like just like from like economically, if Jeff Bezos or Bezos or whatever gets an extra $1 billion, his happiness index changes like a micro percent.
Yeah.
$1 billion being given to low income people, like their happiness index goes through the roof. Like it just like so from like an efficiency standpoint, there's no reason for anyone to have that much money because it just
Yeah.
doesn't do as much for them as it would for poor people. But they're just fucking crazy, and like they spend all their energy like getting more and more and more. Like I don't feel that optimistic that anyone's going to voluntarily give up their billions. There has to be some kind of forced changes. I don't see. I do not see Elon Musk as saying, "Okay, you're right. Take most of my money."
Yeah. I think part of it too is on some level, even if they're not trying to, even if in their hearts they don't believe they're trying to be evil or sadistic or something, I bet Elon Musk just from an egotistical standpoint, he trusts himself with that money more than he trusts the
Yeah,
government or trusts someone else. So even from a he might not even think of himself as being like a horrible person, but he's just like, dude, I'm not just going to give my money to you guys when you guys also have a horrible track record with doing things.
yeah.
But
And he's
yeah.
also, this poor person's just going to waste it on rent versus me,
Yeah.
the cosmos, man. I'm going to put colonies on Mars. That's a way better thing for humanity. Like, they're egotists. They really think that they know what's best for everyone.
Yeah.
It's
Fuck.
hard to talk them down from that.
Yeah. Man, it's tough, dude. I don't even know cuz I wasn't too big on Biden, to be honest. I really wanted Bernie. I felt like he was going to, you know, be
Yeah,
radical and, bring about some more change and fuck, I'm from Chicago and a lot of people my age here cuz I'm 27 now. So I feel like I am getting to an age where people are starting to take themselves like really seriously and shit and trying to,
yeah,
get 30'd up and stuff. And a lot of people I went to school with are, they're getting really politically active. And I really want to be more just aware and active and stuff. But I don't know, I'm just like kind of deeply cynical about
yeah,
uh, our whole system, man. And fuck, I don't even know. I don't even know what my point is. I just feel a little overwhelmed and lost sometimes looking at the whole thing.
yeah.
And
No, you definitely feel very helpless. And like, they always say like change comes incrementally, et cetera, et cetera. Like, you know, the best thing to do is to act locally. Run for your council or whatever. And like, it's just not as impressive. Like, it doesn't feel like the change we're looking for. We're kind of looking for like quick fixes. We're kind
yeah,
of we're burning to come in and like make it all better. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's how the system works. Just it goes way slower, and we're just hoping that it goes in time before things get really fucked up. More
yeah,
so.
yeah, shit, man. But, all right. I mean, on a lighter note, dude,
Yeah,
with the
totally.
with the stand up, man. Are we gonna get a special or something, or what are you thinking, man? What's
Yeah.
the next couple years looking like for you? Where are you taking us, bro?
Where's Django Gold going, man? I mean, I would love. I just haven't done stand up like a year, but I'm really getting kind of hungry about getting back into it. So I would love to do some more stand up once things open up. Honestly, I just want to perform in public. Like the special is all well and good. One thing that's interesting about comedy lately is that there's just so many people doing it. There's just so many specials, especially
Yeah,
really that special anymore. So like, it doesn't really seem like a huge goal of mine at this point because like, so many people have done them. I honestly just like want to get back to performing, hang out with my friends. That's
yeah.
like a big part about what why comedy is cool is like you're just like there at a bar with like 30 people. So I just miss that, and special would be great, whatever. But I just want to perform again. Get back
Yeah.
to the scene.
I guess when I was asking the question too, I kind of forgot even the state of the world. I've like been so deeply quarantined in my crib that I haven't worn a mask in weeks because I haven't been outside. So
Oh yeah,
like,
you're
so
going
I
hard.
I'm going hard, and basically, it's not even going hard on some quarantine shit. I just am like this sometimes. And when the world was normal, I wouldn't just stay in the crib for 3 weeks because people would be like, "Hey, come do this, come do that," and you can't just tell everybody no every time. But with the first excuse where it's like
Yeah,
I actually have a real reason to just, stay in, I definitely took it. But yeah, fuck. I feel you, man. I haven't done a show in a long time as well, and yeah,
are people
shit's
doing like Zoom rap shows?
yeah. I got an offer the other day to do some sort of like live stream concert where they like sell tickets and there's merch and it's like there's like opening acts and shit. It's like they're trying
Yeah,
to make it a whole thing. I've never done it before, but I might take them up on it. It seems like it
yeah.
might be
I mean,
kind
you
of
can
cool.
have like the advantage is you just have your lyrics like on a fucking like Word doc.
Yeah, you could have like a fucking there's like a teleprompter like app that you could download.
Yeah,
Yeah, that actually would be funny. And I've been like learning to DJ a little bit. I've been throwing like fucking, you know, little dance parties in my living room, like in my boxers and shit. But
yeah.
fucking, so maybe I could do some little DJ shit. I could have my vocals like chopped up or something. And
Are you using like record players? Or are you like not record players, but the ones and twos, so to speak? Are you like like
no,
is it
I'm
all software
using
now?
I'm using just like MIDI controllers and stuff, and
Yeah,
yeah, doing it like that because that's pretty much just what I'm familiar with. Typically, when I have to learn like a completely new device and interface, it just kind of drastically decreases the likelihood that I'm gonna follow through on it.
yeah.
But
Oh,
man, fucking, I just like on some other random shit. I just started like rewatching The Sopranos the other day,
yeah,
and
man.
man, fucking great show, dude. Fucking really good show.
It might be the best show ever made. It's really
Honestly,
good.
truly.
It's so funny and like it just feels like realer than like a lot of like the dramas that came after. Like Breaking Bad is cool, Wire is cool, but like they just don't have like the same feel that the Sopranos had. I don't know.
Yeah, they really, man, because there's been a lot of shows that have been like close to that, that were, that you can tell were very heavily inspired by that, like the Breaking Bads. Like I don't know if a show like Breaking Bad exists without Sopranos, but
Yeah.
and I love Breaking Bad, so I think that's one of the best shows of all time. But I think Sopranos is better.
Who's your favorite Sopranos character?
I like Chris. I like I watched it for the first time like with my dad when it was coming on like for the first time. So I was a super little kid.
Yeah.
Right now I'm only in season 2. I like Carmela. I like her little dynamic with the priest. I don't remember how that
Oh
sort of
yeah, yeah.
fizzles. Uh,
Oh, the
uh, yeah. Fuck. I just like the whole like just the world they've created. It's not even like specific characters that I feel like are my favorites. They're just it's like everybody, you know what I mean? And fucking I can't stop saying gabagool, and I don't know if that's like
yeah.
disrespectful or something, but I looked
No,
it up. It's a real thing. I mean, it's actually like a term for like the capicola or whatever
cool.
cold cut.
Yeah, man. Another thing about that show that always strikes me is like how hungry it makes me when I'm watching it. Because it's just like eating prosciutto out of the fridge and like
Yeah.
eating chocolates and ziti and stuff.
It seems like that's your thing, huh? You like all the carbs, huh? The breads and the cheeses.
I'm all about pasta. I'm all about garlic bread, man. I eat very, very, very. I love meals that just like put me to sleep after. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, one
What's your go-to like charcuterie board? You know what I mean? If you're about to put together a nice little platter for yourself.
I eat. I mean, like I'm not like good at like I'm not doing the fancy stuff, but I will just like sit down with like crackers and like a fucking like a wedge of cheese and just like make good progress on it, just like with a butter knife, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not like ambitious enough to like get all like the fig jam and the all the different types of meat and stuff.
I was doing that for a minute during quarantine. It was like I don't know. I like called myself doing some sort of self care thing or something. It was like treat yourself. Go get the swaggy stuff because I
Yeah,
lived like really close to a Whole Foods too. So it was pretty simple because the same place I'm just getting my prosciutto and like fresh mozzarella or whatever. Right next to it is all kinds of other bullshit that you can grab. But
yeah,
I
that
was
that
getting
olive bar is pretty sweet.
yeah. But I was getting all kind of jams and smoked salmons and fucking
Yeah, man.
weird cheeses and shit, and just sitting up binge watching movies. Next thing you know, a week's gone by. I've seen this whole season of something, and
Yeah, it is
but
decadent just having a block of wood with a bunch of like a prince like walking.
yeah.
A little of this, a little of that. Mm.
And it was like I was convincing myself that I was like eating light too, because it's like, oh, dude, it's just like a little, you know what I mean? It's just a little bit
Yeah,
here and there. But then you look up and like these, all these foods that I thought was gonna last like 3 or 4 days. It's like 4 in the morning. I'm like eating my last little bit of everything and fucking.
yeah,
But man, yo, oh shit, have you seen Atlanta? Do you watch that show? Are you familiar with
yeah,
that
man.
show?
Totally.
Fuck yeah. Since I've like started writing, I basically just have been like revisiting all my favorite series, and man, Atlanta's one of my favorites. Are you
Yeah,
familiar with the show called Rami on Hulu?
I haven't seen. I know what it is. I haven't watched it.
That show is really good. I highly recommend that one too. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. Just kind of like wanted to shoot the shit with you on some TV shit too, just because that's what I've been just consuming the most of
Yeah, but
lately. But when
been a
it's
good.
time to like, oh my bad, what were you about to say?
I was like, no, this is the best time to be watching fuckload of TV. You know.
Yeah, but when you're writing for your show, like for one, like I guess what do you have like kind of a set responsibility, things that you contribute to the show, or is it like what's it kind of like contributing to it? And I wanted to then kind of get into your process on crafting the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
you're gonna
I mean, the first question, I think we're all kind of like generalists, all the writers there, because we're all just kind of like expected to be able to do whatever the show requires of us on a given day.
yeah
I think I tend to like pitch more like elaborate like project bits that require like we do like these things called two boxes where Colbert will like interview a wacky guest with like some weird opinion, like, so I pitch a lot of those because I think they're funny, but generally just I think we're all pretty good at just like taking whatever task has to be done and doing that. And then like process wise, honestly, for me the biggest thing is just like getting the energy just to sit down and don't get distracted, don't check your email or whatever, just like write. I find like it takes me a long time to get in the writing zone, and a big part of it is the damn internet. I remember like 6 years ago or something like that when I was writing for the Onion. One night I came back to my apartment and like the internet was down on our block or whatever, and I had like the most productive like 4 hours of my life. I wrote like two Onion articles, like 2 hours for one, 2 hours for the other, just like knocked them out in a way I would never do if I had access to the internet. But
yeah
yeah, process wise, it's just getting in that zone and then just like forcing myself to stay on my computer as long as I can.
Yeah, fuck. That's what I struggle with now. I'm trying to just, I'll just like chip away at it. I'm just gonna write a couple little lines in a scene, and try to go from there. But man, dude, that's dope. So do you have you developed kind of a set routine on how you try to get yourself in the zone, or is it, how do you like have a checklist? You got to put the phone on airplane mode, and
I mean that would be smart. I never have the discipline to do that. One thing, like one part of my process is I have these like little notebooks, like I have like a million of these things around my house, and I'm always just like jotting ideas down until I get to the point where like I have enough ideas on a certain area. It feels like, all right, let's bring these all together and write whatever this is and get it down. But so the beforehand work is just like getting ideas down, and then eventually doing the grunt work of sitting down, having like
It's like your outlining process, so to speak.
outlining and just like little jokes here and there, like a funny turn of phrase. Like I'll just like write down like funny like words I hear. It's like it's just a sandwich. Like it's like you're very like, abstract.
Did you just have the word sandwich written down on one of those pieces of paper?
This is what this says. Video, other half of sandwich. Sandwich, the dark half. VO of sandwich tempting me. Laughing as I eat it. End. Me with stomachache or sleeping. So,
That sounds fucking promising, dude. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
you sort of get what I'm going for there.
Yeah.
It's just very like thin and it needs to be written out into something. But you can get it, but like it requires me having to sit down and actually, all right, here we go. So but that's a big part of the process. It's just like a little shit like that.
Yeah. Have you ever taken a crack at writing like a narrative, so like a narrative piece, like a fucking super scripted, like I guess the Colbert Show was super scripted too, but like you mean like I don't know what the differentiation is, like just like a narrative sort of thing with characters and shit.
Yeah, I mean, me and a friend wrote a movie script like a few years ago. It didn't really, it was honestly, to be frank, it wasn't very good. But other than that, I haven't really dipped my toe in the narrative much. I'm just kind of doing my own little thing right for the time being.
Yeah, I was just curious, but yeah.
No, I know. I think more in terms of individual jokes, less in terms of like plot and like that type of thing. So it's hard to like kind of shift the way my mind works.
Yeah. Well, man, that's awesome, dude. So, I guess, shit. In summation, man, was there I don't know. I guess. What's the culmination for you, man? What are you striving for? This is the last final, like, shoot for the moon. Like, what's? And I'm trying to give me one moment to try and craft this question a little bit better.
Yeah, go for it.
What I'd like to get at too is just like what's still kind of tickling that passion bone a little bit, you know what I mean, and where you think that's leading you, if you have any idea where you'd like that to go, and what you Django, the soul, the spirit, the essence, what I mean, where are you taking it, dude, in the coming chapter?
It's really hard to say. I mean, I think a big part of like writing and creativity in general is like just like the satisfaction I get from having written something, having made something. Like a guy I know says like, everyone hates writing. What they love is having written. So I'm just kind of like chasing the high of having made good work, a work that I feel is like, lived up to what I want it to be. Because a lot of times you conceive of something, by the time you actually make it, it's not as impressive as what you had in your head. So I'm sorry if my answer is a little abstract, because I don't know what direction it would take. But I'm basically just looking to keep making good things, and whatever form that takes, is TBD. But for the time being, I'm just kind of taking it one day at a time.
Man, that's awesome, bro. I appreciate that. Well, man, we're not quite at an hour. I'm sorry, dude. I got on this episode a little bit stoned, and I'm just kind of like,
oh, sure, yeah.
Just spaced out. Actually, do you mind if I roll a little doobie while I talk to you for the next couple minutes?
Go for it. Let me see your technique.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Well, man, not everyone is like, really big on my skills. I feel like everything I roll smokes. Actually, give me 4 seconds to grab these papers.
Yeah, go for it.
But really, I don't use filters, and I think a lot of people are kind of thrown off by that, but I just never really learned, and I felt like it was never, it was never too big of a deal. But,
you not use like a crutch or anything? Like a next card or?
I mean, I could if I had to, but, I'm not super crafty with my hands. I've like broken a bunch of bones in my hands over the years, like, I don't even, doing super random shit. It sounds really tough when I say it, like, yeah, dude, I was just, it's just beating shit out of people, but it was like playing basketball. It was like hella sports injuries. Like one time I got a rebound playing basketball and like fully broke my finger. I was so confused.
That, man. Like when it comes to like macho injuries, like playing basketball counts. It's not like he broke it like fucking like I don't know, slamming it in a. What's something lame? Help me out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what's something lame.
What's a lame way to break your finger?
Some sort of card game or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, you're playing Pogs and you slam down your slammer.
Go fish, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something that wasn't going to be like fucking some like outdated like sexist thing to say.
Yeah, I was running into the same problem too.
Yeah.
Don't say something homophobic. Don't say something sexist.
Yeah. But oh man, fucking. But man, so okay. Last thing too, the main pillars of entertainment I feel for people that like fucking especially in our sort of world predicament, it's just like TV, movies, and like music and shit. I feel so. We've talked a good bit about TV and stuff, which is, I guess, I'd like to think a little bit relevant too, because it's like your trade, which you actually do. And but as far as music too, like, we didn't really touch on the fact that you played music for like quite a while, and not that it was ever like, you know what I mean, some huge thing you were, trying to be a mega rock star or something, but it seemed like it was probably a big part of, your life and creative output and shit. So, what's up with the music and what you listening to these days?
Well, I was listening to some Mick Jenkins this morning.
Ah, dope, man, that's cool. I'm gonna.
You know that guy, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna definitely like cut that little 10 seconds out of this video and just send it to him. Like, dude.
Right. No, he's great, man. I mean, I'm sure you know.
Yeah. I have a lot of songs with him. He's outstanding, truly outstanding. Pisses me off sometimes, honestly, but it's fine.
He's so good. Yeah, I got hooked on him. I was listening to that song of his, Jazz, and he has this rhyme in it that just really resonated with me, where he rhymes Charlie Parker with Frank Sinatra. And for whatever reason, I was like, oh, that's like a really beautiful sound. It's going Parker, Sinatra, just rhyming that. And for whatever reason after that, I was like, yeah, this guy knows what's up, man.
Yeah, I think, I've made this case a few times. I think he might be the best rapper out of our like scene from a technical standpoint. I think it's outstanding. It really is.
Who was in like your class, would you say? Like, who would I know?
Chance the Rapper being kind of like the first one through the door, I would say.
Yeah.
Debatably him and Vic Mensa, but Chance kind of like hit the super mainstream. But Chance, Vic Mensa, Saba, No Name, who I think all of these people have been on the show, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not Vic, but
No Name.
No Name. I think Saba came on with Chance one time as well.
That's right. They had like a big elaborate like stage thing, like they were in like a white room or something, or maybe it was a blue room. It was something like really like elaborate and cool.
Yeah, but all those guys. Then Joey Perp, I'm not sure if you're familiar with. He's like one of the Save Money rappers as well. But yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, a lot of us went to high school together, and
yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. It was a really crazy time to be coming up. But
did you know that Chance the Rapper sometimes is improv, or he used to at least? Because I'm friends with this guy Carmen Christopher, who comes out of Chicago. He's a comedian, and he would always say that like occasionally Chance would like stop by and like do like improv with him and his group. I'm not sure if that's well known.
It's not like super well known. I think a video surfaced a few years ago. He went up at the Hollywood Improv, if I'm not mistaken. And somebody, I don't know how, because I'm pretty, I thought they were going really hardcore with the phone sleeves, but somebody taped it. Unless maybe it was somebody in Chance's crew tape it. Chance kind of wanted the video to float out there to,
accidentally.
Yeah, accidentally. It's like, oh, how did they get my polished 10-minute set?
Right. Oh no, my towel's coming off.
Yeah. Oh no. An audition for Rush Hour 4.
Sure. Yeah.
But shit, yeah, I had heard that. But so, what else you listening to though, man? What's on the playlist? It doesn't have to be people you think I know either.
No, I know. You ever listen to NTS?
What's that?
It's a radio station my girlfriend turned me on to. It's based out of London. It's the website is nts.live, and it's some of like the most like out there like diverse music from like all around the world, all time frames. Like it's like I can't even describe like how diverse it is, because like music from Indonesia, like weird like
damn
like UK drill, like
That's
folk
dope.
music, psychedelic rock, all this, like tons of synth, like
Here, give
hip
me one
hop.
second. I want to write down the name of that. I'd like to include that in like the description of this video if anybody wants to go check it out.
Yeah, no,
Um,
NTS is where it's at, man. It's like so like, it's like I thought my horizons have been broadened by like having Spotify and having it like suggest songs to me and stuff. But like NTS is like next level,
it's NTS dot what?
NTS.live,
Okay.
and they have like they have like two concurrent like live stations going at all times, but they also have a huge archive of like like hour long and 2 hour long like radio sets from the past, and it's just like it's so cool, and like you can just listen to anything you can imagine, and because it's
Yeah.
because it's a radio station, you don't get to control what it is, so like it just like kind of just like expands your horizons in ways I didn't
Yeah.
think possible.
That's cool. A friend of mine in Seattle, he's this guy from Australia, but he lives in Seattle. His name is Jay Purcell, but he runs this company called Signal. It's like Signal, and he does a lot of shit like that too. It'll be like cool, like DJ sets where he's playing music from all over the world, and it's always really cool. I'll send it to you. I think you might enjoy it. Check out
Yeah,
one of them or something. But
totally, man. Always,
yeah,
always
dude.
proud for new music.
Shit, man. Thank you for talking to me. I look
Yeah,
forward to catching up with you again sometime. And
yeah. Thanks for
yeah,
having me. It's really cool to get know what's going on in your world and all that.
yeah, dude. Same to you. We've been kind of like Twitter interacting loosely. We've been
Yeah,
floating
yeah.
on Twitter for like a year or
Well,
so.
it's always funny because like you like follow someone on Twitter and you like get the sense that you know them because like you're seeing all their thoughts and stuff.
Yeah.
And then like when you meet face to face, like it's like, oh, like we're not like strangers, like we clearly
We're not complete strangers, but it's also like the first time having an actual real
Yeah.
conversation. It's weird. The internet is weird like that because even before this, if someone would have said your name, I'd have been like, oh, I know him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like,
Yeah.
no, I don't. No, not until now. I feel like I somewhat do. Like we've had a legitimate
Yeah, no,
conversation,
this is very
but I'm saying even if a week ago if someone would have said, "Yo, Django, go," I'd be like, "Oh yeah, like that guy follows me on Twitter. Like I know him."
yeah, totally.
But
Yeah,
uh,
it totally changes the game. Like it's weird because like it's in the past, oh you'd be if you know a bunch of stuff about somebody you've never met, you're a stalker. But thanks to social media,
yeah.
totally
It's
normal.
like totally normal. It's just
Yeah.
crumbing across your timeline. All these people's like
Yeah.
super personal.
Oh yeah, and
details.
you like meet someone for the first time in like a bar, so I'm like, oh yeah, hello, I know nothing about you, right? Wink,
You're like,
wink.
how's are you still suffering from the depression from a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago?
yeah,
Or,
yeah.
yeah.
How's Cancun? I saw all your photos. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, damn, that's funny. Well, shit, man. Dude, have a great rest of your day, and
You too, man.
I'll send you the episode, and I'm gonna stop recording.
Rock on.